Hey guys, it's Mitch here. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I'm going to film a little what's blooming video. I did a couple of these last year when I had a lot of things in bloom, and you know, it's the season now, it's winter, and I like a lot of winter blooming orchids, so these are all coming into bloom. They're all blooming right now, so I figured I'd do a little video and film them all, talk about the plants, and yeah, share them with you. Let's start with this one on the left. This is Cataleya Alberto Memoria. Oh no, Cataleya Memoria Alberto Wenzel. This is a cool little hybrid. I did a video of this one, I think it was last spring, where I showed you the little species, Laelia aiolia, that is in its background, and just how much it influences hybrids. So if you're interested, check it out. And this is a little orchid that blooms a couple times a year for me. It blooms at the end of every new growth. And I love the pink color of the bloom, and it has this really nice mango color in the lip to contrast. And the growth habit is awesome. I love this plant because it just kind of throws out these leaves. It grows in a nice clump, and it has multi-growth, so like there's always a new growth coming up somewhere in the clump, and it's gotten to be quite a big clump now, so it does throw out a nice new growth and then a bloom. So I can see in the future when it gets pretty big and there's lots of new growths that it'll just be blooming all the time. I grow this completely under my lights, and it's one that is scented as well, and it blooms like several times a year at least, so it's very easy to grow. Can grow under low light, like I don't have it directly under the lights, it's kind of off to the side. And yeah, definitely recommend this orchid if you ever see it. Next one I have here, this one is called Safroleleo Love Castle. And this one blooms for me every winter. This is a winter blooming one. I have 2 or 3 of this one, and I have 2 of another one called Kurenai that I just bought, so I'm just waiting for those ones to bloom, but this one is already in bloom. It's really difficult to capture this on camera, the color, because it's a very deep, reddy purple, and inside the lip is like a golden yellow, kind of red yellow, so it looks like fire. It's really difficult to catch it on camera, but it looks like it's glowing. I love this orchid. It has a really nice growth habit. It grows straight up, like all the leaves grow straight up, so it stays nice and compact. It blooms for me every year in the winter time. And yeah, I love how it holds the bloom. That's really important to me when I buy orchids, is how they hold their blooms. Sometimes I don't like how orchids blooms, they just go in all different directions, but this one holds itself straight up nicely, and yeah, it looks really nice. I love the flower shape as well. This next one I'm really excited about because it's the first time that it's bloomed for me. This is called Bresaola Glauca, or Wrinkly Glauca. I'm not really sure why it has 2 different names at the beginning, but you can look it up under both of those names. I think sometimes orchid people fight about what family orchids fall into, but this is a really beautiful species from South America, and I've actually grown this a few times and sold it because I got sick of waiting for it to bloom. And this one actually bloomed for me because I held on to it, and I love it. Look at the nice shape of the flower, and the lip has this really cool, it's like a purple color, although that's also hard to catch on camera. It has a very faint scent, but I'm wondering if I'm just catching it at the wrong time of day, because sometimes, you know, orchids only release their scent at certain times of day or if the sun is out, but I have caught a little scent there, so I do like this orchid. This one I like it because these Bresaolas, they're very easy to grow. They can take a lot of neglect. Like I let it really dry out in the summertime, and I just like this one doesn't really care. I love how the leaves grow straight up, and it has a very short like span between growth, so you know it's going to be a nice tight and compact plant. And what I've noticed too is this one kind of like lets the roots grow out, see, in the winter time. So this growth actually matured in the summer. So it grew out over the summer, but I didn't see any roots. So I wasn't sure if I was doing anything right, but actually I realize now that it was waiting for the cooler temperatures and moisture of the winter. Cause like in my grow area, starting in about September, I start to lower the lights by a half hour every month. And the temperatures really drop down there till, I guess they go down about 8 to 10 degrees at night and come down to about 17, 18 degrees in the daytime with the lights on. And so that means that when I do water plants, the water doesn't evaporate and dry up as fast. So it makes this like cooler, wetter season. I could also not water certain plants and they would just be in a cool, dry season down there. That's one thing I like about growing under lights is you can really control the environment. But anyway, this one seems to like that cooler, wetter season because you can see the roots that it's just sending out now, and it's January. It's not really growing right now. It's just sending out new roots. And also, I guess that's when it blooms. So I'm really happy that I held on to it. This is one of my favorite little species, and I have a bunch of Bresaolas and Bresaola hybrids, and they're just some of my favorite, most easy to grow plants. But really, really pretty bloom. So this next one here, this is my favorite orchid. This is like, if I could only keep one orchid, this is it. It's called Safroleleo Cataleya Fairyland. And I love this plant. This plant blooms like 3, 4, sometimes 5 times a year. It depends how many growths it sends out. It blooms at the end of each growth. It's like beautiful little blooms. I love the colors. Like right now it has this peachy golden tone, deep color, but you know, other times of the year when the temperatures are different, I've seen it be more like this peachy tone all over. I've seen it be like a faded yellow tone like you see in the middle of the petals here. And the lips, like every time it blooms, there's some variation in the flowers. And I'm pretty sure that has something to do with the temperature and the light. But anyway, it's beautiful every single time it flowers. Right now it only has 3, but I've had it where it's had 5, 6 blooms on one of these spikes. And all the flowers hold themselves perfectly in this little presentation. So every flower is like in the right position to just photograph and enjoy. And I really, really love it. It's scented. It doesn't mind a little bit of neglect. Sometimes I don't water it for a long period of time and it kind of shrivels up, and then I water it and it's like happy as a clam again. So it's blooming right now. And this is like, if I could only keep one orchid, this is it. It's like, I bought this one 6 years ago at the Victoria Orchid Show, and it was the last one left on the table, and it was the last one left because it wasn't even like secure in the pot. It was just like this stick, basically. It had no roots. It had the fading end of a flower, but I saw it in the show and I knew what it would look like, so I just kind of brought it home and stuck it in a pot, and it just took off. So I've had this plant for about 6 years now, and yeah, it's very, very rewarding. If you ever see it, I highly recommend buying it. This is one of the best little hybrids that I've ever had. And yeah, the flowers are just so pretty. I love the tones, and I mean, in my mind, it always reminds me of daffodils in the spring. And yeah, highly recommend this plant. Next one here is called Dendrobium Inobi Purple Splash, and this is a hybrid I bought last spring. I bought it as a clump and I divided it up, and then this is the one I kept that bloomed. And yeah, this is very easy to grow as well. I like plants that you can neglect a little bit, and this is one that you can definitely neglect, and it just bloomed. Like, it's so easy. I didn't do anything special to get it to bloom. I think this might be one like the Love Castle or Wrinkly Glauca, and this one, I think they're all like triggered to bloom by that shorter days and more moisture. Yeah, because they only bloom once a year from what I've seen. So this growth matured, and then in the fall it started throwing out the spike, and now it's been in bloom since about October. So we're into our second month. So I like that as well, that the flowers are very long lasting. I love the colors. It has this like splash design and splash pattern on the petals. And if you Google this plant online, there's some really beautiful pictures of what mature plants look like and how they look like when they bloom, and it's just like a cloud of these beautiful blooms. And I'm pretty sure that it will throw out multiple spikes as well from what I've seen in the pictures, so I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, I'm enjoying it right now. Okay, and the last one here today, this is called Wrinkly Cattleya Toshi's Magic Xinyin. This is a plant I just bought, so I don't know much about it. It's blooming right now, and it has a really, really beautiful scent. I have some other Wrinkly Cattaleyas, and they bloom around this time of year too, so I'm hoping this is a nice winter bloomer, because I really love plants that, you can bring inside in the winter time and enjoy during the winter months when there's not a lot growing outside. That's the time of year where I really appreciate plants and flowers, so it's nice to bring them in and enjoy it. This has a really beautiful scent. It's filling up this whole room right now. And I love this color combination of yellow blooms with red lip. It's a very popular one for orchids, but this one has also like a really nice shape of flower, like a star. And yeah, nice growth habit. You can see it grows straight up and doesn't take up a lot of room. And yeah, we'll see how it grows in my grower the next couple of years. Anyway, that's it for today. This video is a little bit longer than I expected, but these are beautiful plants and I love talking about them. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to comment down below, and check out my Instagram where I do post a lot of pictures of these plants as they are blooming. Thanks very much for watching. See you next time.